Welcome back to Rock Metal Fan Nation. I am your host Chris, and I'm very excited to be ranking the songs and reviewing Asking Alexandria's 8th album, Where Do We Go From Here? This album came out on August 25th, so we've had a couple months to digest and really dive into this one because it's an interesting album. Now, for those of you that don't know, Asking Alexandria started very heavily rooted in metalcore, and over the years they have definitely switched much more onto the hard rock side. They've dabbled with some electronics, occasionally some country sounds, and what they've done is they've created a pretty unique sound to them. Danny Worsnip has a very unique vocal delivery, and not just in overall sound, but the way he delivers his lines. So a lot of start-stop vocals, and that is mixed with a lot of experimentation on the instrumentalization part of the band. On this album, the band didn't know really where to go, hence the title. So they made an album that they said encompasses all of their sound up till now. So there's a little bit of everything from each album all mixed into one. What I found interesting was Danny actually said that this is one of the least personal albums for him lyrically. Usually when you read that, you're like, all right, what are you getting at? What he means by that is he's trying to write songs that are relatable to his fan base. He even admitted that might sound like he's selling out, but really, this is still a hard rock album. I don't find any sellout here. He knows the songs that his audience likes, and he wanted to deliver the best product for them. And I think the band does a great job of that. There is something for everyone in this one, so I'm pretty excited to dive in. As you can see, I don't have the album cover up here. Instead, I've got it on my shirt because this band loves to have a mix of long and short titles. There's only so much that I can fit here. I will take this track list of 11 songs, and on this side, I will rank the songs least best or worst to best. Before we get started, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this page. And as I'm going through these rankings, if you have any different opinion or a similar opinion, make sure to comment them. Let's get this dialogue going. Now let's get started. Ranked 11th is Kill It With Fire. Now, apparently, Danny, the lead singer, didn't even know that this song was on the album. This is something that Ben added. Ben is the longest tenured member of the band. He's lead guitarist, chief songwriter, and also provides backing vocals on this song. He is singing, and this is a 1 minute and 6 second song of kind of punk hardcore chaos. The rumor is that this is actually the name of the side project that Ben had started but never really followed through with. This does not fit in the album whatsoever. It's kind of fun, but it feels like a tease. It's not a fully fledged song. It comes off a little sloppy, a little bit careless, which I really wouldn't describe Asking Alexandria as, because they have a lot of well thought out songs and they really craft each song very well. So I was surprised this was on there. Fun addition, but completely unnecessary. Ranked 10th overall is actually track 10 of the album, Holding On to Something More, another long title. This is a really cool kind of brooding song, but it's also up-tempo, and the band has described it as kind of having like a punk, like commercial feel. I don't know about that. This one to me seems contemplative. There is a nice energy to it, and I love that the choruses actually build momentum. So that part is pretty cool. Other than that, this one kind of loses me. I will say lyrically, it is great, and it definitely feels like one of the more personal songs that Danny wrote for the album. It's ranked lower here because it is one of the more predictable songs in the album. However, the bridge section is still filled with a nice surprise heavy riff. Aside from that one surprise, it's a pretty typical hard rock track. Next, ranked 9th is Psycho. This is actually one of the 3 singles of the album, and despite its low rank, I really do enjoy it. Danny has said this is much more of a fun rock song. So even though it's called Psycho, this is meant to have a party rock vibe. It has a little bit of cliche in it. It's meant to be tongue-in-cheek, and that's what you get. Kind of hard to take it seriously, but that's not really the point. There are still memorable hooks. The verses are very R&B, and then things progress into typical head-nodding, chant-worthy choruses, so I enjoyed it. There's some nice double bass in the bridge that gives it a little bit more of a metal feel to it, which is unique. Overall, I think this is a perfect song for the radio, but there are a lot of better songs on the album. There are a lot of deep themes in this album, so I do like that Psycho takes a kind of serious title and makes things wacky. It is a quirky tune. It still has everything you want in the new era of Asking Alexandria, but it's delivered in a fun way, which is a different flavor for them. I don't mind them exploring it this much. It's not my favorite. However, there's no denying that you could play this in a party setting and it would actually fit in, which you probably couldn't say about the heavier tracks in the album. At number 8 is Feel, and this is actually one of my favorite songs on the album. It has such a modern edge to it, but not for the sake of being modern. It's just very fresh sounding. These are the type of songs that hard rock bands should try to strive for. It's something unique. It isn't very cookie cutter. I'm not saying it reinvents Asking Alexandria, but it's a simple, emotional tune that has a lot of style to it. Pay attention to the drumming in the verses. It's really hard to miss. But by far, the best thing about Feel is the chorus. It is emotional. It is definitely a crowd pleaser, but in a heavier way. To me, it's the opposite of Psycho. I know what Psycho was going for, but I think Feel does a better job of executing what should be a great live song. Where Do We Go From Here lands at number 7, the album title track, and this does a great job of closing the album, putting a bow on it. It is a vintage Danny acoustic song. Danny had actually written this for his upcoming solo album, but the band felt the album needed just one more ingredient, and that was an acoustic number. And it's great. I like that it isn't just a quick acoustic song. This one is fully fledged, so there's a nice crescendo that leads to the whole band joining in, so it doesn't just feel like Danny doing his thing. Lyrically, I think it's great. It's melancholy. It's addressing being stuck in an interesting place. It doesn't really feel like a typical ballad, which I love. I think Danny is a very underrated songwriter, so it's really nice to hear him shine, and the band is so talented that sometimes you're not really focusing on the lyrics. This song, he really is in the front of the mix vocally, even talking about having too much tequila, lines like that that are relatable. Sometimes hard rock songs can be so pigeonholed lyrically. It's nice that Danny just kind of expands that more. The crescendo of the song is beautiful. It's a great anthem, and it really speaks to where the band is. It kind of makes me nervous. I feel like Asking Alexandria genuinely doesn't know where to go from here. They've made so many different types of albums, and this is an album that encompasses all of the sounds of their previous album. So where do you go from there? Things start getting interesting at number 6. Nothing Left is also track 6 on the album, and it starts with Danny delivering a verse over some kind of quiet electronics before he yells, "Bury me," and then the guitars and the drums come in, and it's pummeling. It's pretty interesting to hear the metalcore influence mixed with traditional hard rock as well as electronic experimentation. It pays off really well. Nothing Left is probably the most unique song in the album, and it's a trip. It's very enjoyable start to finish. Barely doesn't make the top 5. I've said it before with middle ranked songs that this is a testament to how strong the album is. In just under 4.5 minutes, the band packs so many different sounds into one song, and it even has a killer breakdown. Breakdowns with Asking Alexandria don't happen as often anymore. If you don't like it, it is what it is. But this one, it fits so well. It's not having a breakdown for the sake of having a breakdown. No, this one comes in, and it's awesome. It makes this song even more dynamic than it already was. For me, Nothing Left is the hidden gem of the album. Bad Blood. Bad Blood, the album opener, ranks number 5 here, and this is a fun song. You even hear it in the way they say Bad Blood. They know it's going to be a banger, so I like that they kind of do this falsetto delivery and then this pummeling metal riff. You could tell the band was digging back to their roots on this song. It still has their new era of sound. There's nothing that sounds exactly like what they did when they first came out, and I don't think that's a bad thing. However, there's a nice modern metalcore twist to these songs, and the band pulls this off by being very unpredictable. They don't follow the traditional metalcore formula. There's still that R&B influence. You never really know what's going to happen next. The band takes an interesting risk with this song. The chorus actually features blast beats. So it is very heavy metal, very loud, kind of hard to pick up on the chorus hook if you're not used to metal or metalcore. For us, we've got this. But for anyone else, it's a little jarring. And this is actually one of the singles released on the album. I love when Asking Alexandria gets loud and gets dangerous. Even though you can tell it's a nostalgic tune, it still feels very natural for the band. And I think that's really hard to pull off. Let the Dead Take Me is ranked number 4. And this is a classic example of a song that, because it falls late into the track list, might be overlooked or missed completely, but I highly recommend you check out this song. It has a very cinematic feel to it. I've talked about songs in the past that kind of take you on a journey. In Asking Alexandria songs, it's usually less of a journey, more of an experience, but Let the Dead Take Me is a full journey. It feels like you're in a movie, kind of like a roller coaster. Danny is cooking vocally. He sounds awesome. He has a really fast flow. He's singing quickly in the verses over a distorted bass line. Really don't know where the song's gonna go. In fact, one of the choruses is kind of just like a chant. It's not even lyrics. The lyrics eventually happen in what does become the chorus. The band takes a lot of chances on this one, and they do not follow traditional song structure. And it's fun. It still manages to mix a lot of their sounds. Even though it's under 4 minutes, it kind of reminds me of an Avenged Sevenfold progressive storytelling type song. And usually when I describe a song like that, there isn't really a big hook. But this actually could be an anthem. The choruses really stick with you at the end of the song. This was a really hard one to pull off, and I applaud Asking Alexandria. It actually made me appreciate how talented they are as songwriters. And what really ties this song together is the overall melody. When you hear the guitars and Danny come together with the lines, "Take my soul, let me feed on the broken," it is so catchy. It's one of those melodies that seems so familiar, yet we haven't really heard it before. Dark Void ranks at number 3. This was the lead single of the album, and it was a perfect first single. When it comes to singles, this is Asking Alexandria at their best. It is slightly predictable for them, but in this case, it is a great thing. Picture all of their modern singles that you might know over the last 10 years, but add a slightly darker edge to it, pardon the pun, but that's what you get with Dark Void. It has an extra snarl to it, a little more anger, it's a little more broody than previous singles, and that makes it stand out. Easily going to be one of their greatest hits. It's got some great bass drums, down-tuned guitars, yet Danny's classic vocal deliveries where he's kind of like starting and stopping. If you want to hear how Asking Alexandria is unique among hard rock bands today, listen to the verse progression. You have this slow moment where you think, okay, these lines are going to be what the verse are, then a pre-chorus, chorus, whatever. Instead, in the middle of the second line, the band erupts into this heavy riff, and Danny's voice soars on top. It's just one of those examples where Asking Alexandria keeps us on our toes and keeps us guessing. It shows off their creativity, and it makes them stand apart from some hard rock that sounds a little generic. Dark Void builds to a lot of drama, so after that second chorus, there's a nice breakdown where it's more of an emotional breakdown, but we do get Danny growling, and his voice, it sounds phenomenal. He doesn't growl like he used to, and that is okay, but when he does on this album, it sounds great. And it adds to the overall drama of this song. It makes me think of in interviews how he said he wants more fun songs like Psycho. However, when this band dives into those emotional lyrics and subject matters, that's really when they're at their finest. Hello, I am number 2, and that would be Let Go. Weird that this song isn't a single, especially given the backstory. So Danny Worsnip has described this song as a nod to the crazy success of their single Alone in a Room. That song was an overnight success, and it happened 12 years into their career. Ever since then, Danny has mentioned that they've been chasing that success, and in a way, they are letting go of that past. I think stylistically, this song is similar to Alone in a Room. I'm not going to make the comparison. They're too different. It's 2 different times in life for the band. But overall, Let Go has it all. The intro riff reminds me a lot of the riff of Can You Feel My Heart by Bring Me the Horizon. So you have these big, down-tuned power chords, a very mid-tempo riff, but a very massive riff too, so you can hear it being played live. The chorus feels familiar. It isn't really groundbreaking, but it is effective. The main hook is let go, and then oh no, oh no. So, okay, it's not changing the world here, but it still feels like an anthem. It has a very larger than life sound, which I can appreciate. And the band doesn't just keep that hook. The chorus is long and it does evolve. The am I dreaming part is so catchy, and it's not even the main hook of the song, proving the band is never running out of ideas. I mentioned that the lyrics reference Alone in a Room a little bit, but at the same time, this is still about anything that you're trying to forget or let go and how difficult it can be. Even if you could hardly see something, you still might not be able to let it go. Now, there is an X factor to this song, and that is the female vocals in it, which are really unique. It's only happened in one other Asking Alexandria song, and it is the same singer. Her name is Grace Grundy, and she delivers awesome vocals. She's in the intro, she's very prevalent in the bridge section, singing with Danny, and they make a great pair. I would love to hear her vocals more. It definitely fits the overall tone of the song. If you want to know the other song that she sang on, it is I Don't Need You on the Like a House on Fire album. This to me is not typical radio hard rock because it's better. It still has a unique edge compared to a lot of other songs that you hear, and it balances that line between unpredictable and memorable. The best ranked song on this album is Things Could Be Different, and I love this song. There is a snarl, a ferocity, and also a swagger to this one that make it really unique. The drumming is simply outstanding. There's this danceable, upbeat vibe, and the guitars are menacing around the rhythm section in such a clever, unique way. This is already, from the first 30 seconds in, you know this is going to be one of the more unique Asking Alexandria songs. Now, I love the backstory to this one because Danny said it is one of the 2 tracks that are most personal to him on the album, the other being the album title track, Where Do We Go From Here? And you could feel it. There is an extra level of passion and delivery. There are probably the most F-bombs on this song, as it starts with never fucking good enough, repeated several times. Danny is angry, he's frustrated, and it's that classic adage of, if I knew then what I knew now, things could be different, but they're not. So you're frustrated and time keeps moving on, and yet sometimes something that might have been right in front of you all along, you're just now realizing, and by then, things can't be different. Things Could Be Different is exhilarating. It is very guitar heavy, but there are still the electronic elements. You could hear that in the bridge section, but a lot of times Asking Alexandria might mix electronics and guitars kind of like equally. This time it really is a heavy tune, but the electronics come in and complement it in a perfect way. I can't even say that this is everything I wanted in an Asking Alexandria song because I didn't know they had it in them. By far one of my favorite Asking Alexandria songs ever made, and that is why it is ranked number 1 on the album. Where do we go from here? On album 8, Asking Alexandria is asking those questions. The lyrics are very much geared to their audience. They want to please the fans, and I can respect that. It's something they want to do. They're not selling out by any means because it's heavy music. They have an awesome connection with their fan base, and I can really appreciate that. Now, just because they're making songs that they think their audience might want to hear doesn't mean that they're sacrificing their creativity or songwriting ability. The band really takes their time crafting each of these 11 songs, maybe with the exception of Kill It With Fire. We'll leave that for what it is, but this band is so talented. As a 5-piece, they're able to do so much. I love how their sound has evolved. Yes, I miss the strictly metalcore days, but their hard rock sound is great, and I've said this before. Metal bands make the best hard rock albums. Hard rock has become a bit stale right now, so that creative spirit that I find much more with metal bands is very much alive in this album. Where Do We Go From Here is stellar. And for those reasons, I've rated this album an 8.9 out of 10. It really is an awesome body of work. It's hard to find flaws here. There are some of the more mid-tempo tracks like Holding On to Something More or the kind of cliche Psycho, which was a cliche on purpose. Other than that, you have a very eclectic collection of songs that do the band's legacy justice. I love that they took inspiration from their previous work because there's no way they can go back to that sound. It's still very much 2023 Asking Alexandria, but with the nods to their past. And I think that gave them an edge. They've always had an edge over their peers with Danny Warsnip's awesome, unique vocal deliveries. He does a great thing with how he delivers syllables. Start, stop, then he could switch to growling. He has R&B vibes that switch to metalcore vibes. He could do it all, but the band really impresses me on this album, particularly their drummer, James Castles, who does such an amazing job. A lot of the times I'm hearing these songs and I'm just, damn, these drums are so tight. I love this one. I think this is one of my favorite hard rock albums of the year, but I want to know your thoughts. So please let me know how you would rate this album out of 10. What songs were your favorite? Do you think it's weird that I didn't have a single as number one? Let me know. Please like, comment, subscribe. I will see you all soon. I also highly recommend that you listen to this bad boy on vinyl because it is a sonic trip. Stay metal, keep rocking, and I'll see you next time.